Hello, everybody. Welcome in or welcome back. If you were just here for the last race, we've got another one coming right at you, and it is the last unbroadcasted race of the first round of the 2025 Dragon Warrior Randomizer Summer Tournament. Tied one game apiece, Hoodie 2 Shoes Atom Raptors. This one's to secure a spot in the next round of the brackets, and we are underway. I am Archfield. Brian remains with me, is doing our restreaming as well today. RG on the tracker. And we'll see how things go here. Goomba versus Hero. Gold chest and fairy water to start in the treasury. See our stats there, 8 and 6 on the attack power and defense power respectively, no spells. But decent agility at 12, 24 hit points. So with that fairy water and some gold, we'll see how this one starts. Yeah, it kind of depends, I guess, right? You have just the one fairy water, and you're not sure if you're going to have access to more, so you kind of want to try to make the most of that if you can. So in the process of poking around a little bit, if you see something that's valuable, maybe a Drakemon Middle Scorpion or something like that, it can be a bit risky, but we did see, I think Adam at least saved his fairy water here and his gold. Had a pretty high gold chest roll, too, for what it's worth. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Adam Raptors is having a think on this one. You throw the fairy water at the Metal Scorpion, and he does get it. That's pretty big here. 6, 8, 24, 15. No way of parsing which levels brought that because, of course, the Metal Scorpion will just jump us straight from 1 to 3. So things are looking much better. No spells yet, though. We do see on Hoodie's side has picked up level 2 against a Magidrake. So you see kind of the breakdown of those stats there. The strength showed up on mostly on level 3, but we do have a town, Cole to the north here. So we're going to get a search spot check from Hoodie first, and then we might look. Oh, so we've got armor pretty early in this one, sub 2 minutes. Cole pretty close by, and we'll see if there's a weapon perhaps here. None except for the bamboo pole that are affordable. Yes. No, that's actually pretty good right now. That's what, like a 25% increase in attack power for Hoodie at this stage, so that's fine. Yeah. Yeah, and stuck in a different kind of jail for a moment there because this coal shop is not... The alleyways here are really narrow, and you have to sometimes wait for opposing traffic before you can get through. We have a little Twin Cities situation here on the diagonal. Breckenary followed by Hawksness. So 2 places that can barely be referred to as towns.
All right, I was not unmuted. So now people can hear the words of marginal value that I've been sharing. But yes, I'm excited that we bought the bamboo pole. That was my first exclamation, and then I'm excited about the torch buys from Hoodie. So,
well, we've seen a broadsword, a flame sword, and a silver shield so far in the 2 shops that we've encountered. Those are all out of reach right now, but the club is a slight upgrade for Atom Raptors. I will say, with the armor right now, already over 40 defense, so all of the starting zone enemies, 0, 1, 2, whatever you happen to find, those are potentially available. And speaking of available, Hawksness here, first encounter for Hoodie, is a very nerfed Wraith Knight, and so he's just gonna chuck torches at this guy. Appears to be 75% so far. I mean, it's just stop spelled every single turn.
this is a wild fight.
This is a wild fight.
Okay, there's nothing else you can say. This could be 3 levels, right?
It's 3 levels, yeah. It's going to jump to 5, 86 experience here. So he's all the way up to 5. 7 power, 8 speed, 23 hit points, 15 magic points. So I dare say level 5 was not much of anything. We look at the comparison there between the two racers. We got some more hit points, but nothing else really budged very much. We're still sitting on 15 strength at level 5. Unfortunately, Wraith Knights cannot be on spike tiles, and the Stone Man is very likely to send Hoodie back to start. That's... Oh, no, he gets away.
Yeah, I mean, 24 agility, just running.
Just casual run. I don't know that it was very important. Here's another Wraith Knight, but I think Hoodie's out of ammo. He's got 3 torches here. He would have to probably follow with a crit, I think. This might be out of range just for 3 torch situation.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised he's throwing them. I would just... Yeah. I'd want to buy more, but not waste these 3, right?
Yeah, minimum Wraith Knight hit points are 30. So since torches do 6 to 9, the most you could hope for there was 27. So that doesn't quite reach, and he did roll a 6 on one of those. So that, yeah, the best you could hope for is a crit, and even that you're maybe going to do 9. You're doing like 9 to 17 damage.
Has it done anything other than stop spell yet?
No, it is done. It is uniformly stop spelled every single turn. Adam Raptors, meanwhile, has settled into a grind here. Looks to be a little bit south of
oh, it did have baby breath.
It's a little bit south of Cole right now. Oh, it did.
It had baby breath. But that's also not scary with the armor, right? You can take 3 or 4 of those easily.
So Breckenary actually has the fairy water right now, and I wonder if Hoodie, having seen this, would just say, hey, you know what? 3 fairy water probably does it against a Wraith Knight. Maybe that's the play right now, because that's very non-threatening.
Yeah, maybe you want to get within 72 experience so that you get the level out of it. But I think that's where we are right now. So you're 1 Wraith Knight from another level.
And to be fair, Adam Raptors here quite reasonably. Oh, Magidrake has Sleep Hurt more. But that notwithstanding, quite reasonably, like I said, they're breaking everything in the starting zones. You can pick on some of those enemies if you want to. But you can see it's just kind of slowly creeping along here. The attack power is still so bad on level 4, and honestly level 5 as well.
Yeah, the club helps. 18 attack. You chip a little bit harder. Still not as good as a torch. Definitely not as good as a fairy water. So fairy water could really be... Oh, we got a wolf. This is another good target.
Another good target, but still he does try the test swing there. Does no damage, still 17 attack power is not going to put a dent on a wolf, and it has hurt more on top of that, so not ideal.
We're just running from Stone Men with 24 agility. 2 in a row.
Is 24 some kind of magic number for the Stone Man?
You're going to have to add that to the manual. Like, you can't run at low agility except if it's 24. Then it works.
4th enemy we see here in this zone is a Druid Lord, which is also a good target right now. It's not quite broken, but it's not doing enough damage to outpace what your defense is right now and your hit points, as long as it doesn't have an ability, which we didn't see in that first fight. So if Hoodie can take this one out, he will get level 6. Adam Raptors, meanwhile, has hit level 5. Again, not much of a boost there, but does have some more cash on hand, so maybe is starting to think about some fairy water himself.
Yeah, the DL2 breath from the Druid Lord downgrades its potential quite a bit.
Yeah, so that zone is looking slightly less good, just because of that. You got the Stone Men hanging around, and I think Hoodie is probably aware that he's been getting pretty lucky to get away from those to this point.
Yeah, so Adam Raptors actually got a large shield with the very high initial roll out of the start and a little bit of grinding, right? So didn't have the money for fairy waters here and just had to go torches.
Yeah, 52 defense, so he is breaking a fair few things now. But just no offensive output to speak of.
Okay, we got the Wraith Knight again. And That's a very safe fight as long as the Fairy Waters do the job.
Yeah, they will. The preponderance of the time, they're going to get you at least halfway through the range, if not clear it. And that'll be level 6 for Hoodie. 0, 2, 22, 4. So really, this is the kind of seed where you're on level 6, you're like, wow, I hope I run into a metal slime.
Yeah, I mean, Adam Raptor's getting really good fights for torches, right? A metal scorpion is one of your best efficiencies, right, for a scorpion. Sorry, my computer's having a little moment. But it's still not as good as what you can get with Fairy Waters in the Wraith Knight.
Yeah, and the Wraith Knight, the nice thing about the Wraith Knight too, it's 120 gold, so you can mostly refill Fairy Water on that at least partway. And I will say, like, the Druin Lord, I think Hoodie's contemplating that, and I wouldn't mind it here because you can tank 1, deal 2 from them. So if they're only 25% breath and you don't have a good sense of it yet, he doesn't have any money, I think that would have been an opportune time to try it, but I also understand not wanting to take that fight at all.
Yeah, I think it's a reasonable thing to pass on. It's just you could get double breathed, right, and then lose everything. Unlikely, but you just have better options here.
Yeah. Now the wolf, with its hurt more, when the HP was a little bit more suppressed, that was problematic, but with armor and the hit points where they are, should be okay here, unless... Yeah, and he's still not... he's even on level 6, just still not damaging the wolf. Has to use Fairy Water on it. This will be the level, however, so we'll get to see if level 7 brings any help. 5 power, 6 speed, 0 hit points, 9 magic points, and finally a spell, we get hurt.
Okay, we no longer have to purchase our damage. It's great.
Looks like Drakey is the... yeah, it's pretty good. Getting hurt here is a real nice get. We see the Drakey is the 5th enemy in this Hawksness zone, so you have 2 things that you really can't do anything with, a Stone Man and the Drakey. And then you've got 3 enemies that you can... well, 2 enemies that you can reliably hurt and Fairy Water, and the Wolf and the Wraith Knight. And then 1 that you can if you're feeling, a little bit more lucky in that Druin Lord. So this still doesn't seem too bad. You only need a handful of encounters to get to the next level, level 8 at 600. So we might see Hoodie stay here for a little bit.
Oh yeah, definitely staying here. This is 3 very comfy fights with a good return. You notice Hoodie used the Fairy Waters because the hurt resist on the Wraith Knight is just annoying enough that, and of course the first one even failed, needing to finish it. So yeah, kind of heads up play to use the Fairy Water to be guaranteed the hits.
Yeah, you may as well use those and guarantee the damage, because the hurt can be a little bit annoying against those Wraith Knights. And the other thing about this too, the enemies here are all, they'll give you some gold too. So Hoodie can easily cycle back out to Brecconary and save up for a large shield if he'd like to make a play similar to the one Adam Raptors did. Yep.
Yeah, chat making a good point. You could have sacrificed the large for a small to return a few hundred gold and turned it into some Fairy Water. But I think these torches are doing okay. Right? I think Adam Raptors has no reason to think this is highly inefficient when 2 torches can often take out a Mouse Scorpion. It's a pretty good return, time and money.
Yeah, honestly, based on the information that he has right now, I would say, yeah, this is entirely reasonable. It's not as though this is a bad play. He's, doing everything is structurally correct from the decision-making standpoint. It's just that Hoodie, on his trip into Hawksness, saw this Wraith Knight, and it was an immediate lure because it was just so nerfed.
Yeah, and I think at this point, if Adam Raptors wanders in, 3 of those 5 enemies would look pretty good, right? They would look appealing to come back to, right? I'd love to see a wolf. I'd love to see the Druin Lord as well. So I think there's a lot of ways Adam Raptors could discover this quickly, but probably not likely to happen given the mission of get torches, take out Metal Scorpions.
Yeah, we saw Hoodie kind of juke us there a little bit. He went toward the spike, I think perhaps considering a death warp because they're not actually that far from start. But with Brecconary right here, he does get to preserve his gold by using the inn. He is just one of those good encounters away from getting the level. Of course, these stone men can show up at any time and try to rob you, but Hoodie's not really had any trouble running from them so far.
Yeah.
So.
No longer has 24 agility, so maybe the magic is gone. But yeah, that was also very fortunate to help discover this zone.
Adam Raptor's making another trip to the Brecconary item shop. He's going to pick up a dragon scale here and equip that, so has even more defense now. If the strength ever picks up, you're going to love all the stuff you're breaking in the mid-game, but so far it's just you can't do any damage to any of it without torches or fairy water.
Yeah, I mean, actually, well, till 24 power, they were in pretty bad shape.
It does say something, though, that Hoodie just picked up 24 power on level 8, and Hurt and Fairy Water are still doing more damage to wolves than his physical attacks would.
Yeah. But now...
Just narrowly, but...
Now with the breaking defense, you can just kind of hold A and win in all these fights. So, it's except for the dodge. Okay, that's going to happen, but you still just hold A.
Yeah, now he doesn't have to worry about throwing spells. He can just jab with his bamboo pole. And I think we're all fans, right, of just... Oh, and look at that. Bamboo pole crit on the Wraith Knight for a one-shot. That's the one enemy that the Hurt is still vastly superior, even though it has some resist. Only doing, I think, probably 4 to 9 right now on 46.
But he used an herb to stay alive, but then didn't use another herb in that fight. Is at 800 gold, but is not taking the walk over for the shield right now.
Ooh, I don't know that I saw this before, and it was possibly a failure on my part that I hadn't, because Adam Raptors has fought so many Metal Scorpions, but they do have heal more. And I think he is maybe... I'm not sure. He's swinging away on this one, but this is definitely a battle of attrition. He might have just been trying to do some chip damage before he threw some more torches, because it'll heal back to full, of course.
Yeah.
No more.
Yeah, you need to do 18 damage and 2 torches. We're going to put it almost certainly just into heal more range again. Trying to chip first. But that kind of breaks the whole zone, right? That was the fight that made that zone good. And now it's like, what do you do for another 80 experience? And it's kind of come back to this zone with the zone 0 group of enemies.
Hoodie at level 9, that was 3220, I think. I might have misordered those numbers if I didn't quite see them in the correct way, but does come with heal more as well, so that helped Hoodie stay alive a little bit. He's built his way up to 1290 gold, and I wonder if he's fading perhaps the large shield in favor of waiting for broadsword money at this point. I know he is a broadsword enjoyer. We have discussed that recently in a race that we called, and that would be huge right now, getting broadsword.
Yeah, I didn't even kind of think about it, but I think the heal more really changes the math. You are not scared now of even the Druid Lord breath, so keep gathering your gold. It's not at risk anymore.
Yeah, and not even really scared of the Stonemen for what it's worth, because you can, as long as you have enough MP, you can just get to your Mercy Rule run and get away. So it's very safe now to try to preserve the money he's built so far.
Yeah, I would expect, even with decent resources in hand, as soon as it's 100 or 1500 gold, it's a race to the shop. So don't even use up the MP, you just lock it in. start swinging.
Yeah, exactly.
Adam Raptor's back on the torch grind. We're gonna just press your luck. As long as you have 3 torches, you can kind of start the fight and resume after the heal more if you still have 3.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, even if it heal mortars, it's going to be, what, at 18? So if you throw a couple of torches, you're not necessarily even going to get it. Say you roll a couple of 7s, or like a 6 and a 7, you're actually not putting it back into heal range yet, and then you're going to guaranteed kill that on the 3rd. So, I mean, there's plenty of room there, and on top of that, the Metal Scorpion just might not have a high percentage heal more. We are going to see Atom Raptors get the level here as Hoodie has just picked up his broadsword, so now 67 attack power feels really good in that zone, and he might just keep at it.
Yeah, this plains zone kind of around the towns has specters and normal wraiths, which are not bad. I wouldn't even be surprised if Adam Raptors discovers those and thinks this is an upgrade before going into Hawks on the next kind of trip in that area. But the Hawk zone is too good with the 3 good enemies here. So I think it's a camp for at least another level.
Yeah, and this is a substantial experience gap right now, given that we only got hurt on level 7. So this is a big gap, but and for Atom Raptors though, I think if I'm in his shoes right now, I probably still feel pretty good about this. It's been a very low strength start, just got hurt. Now you can use that against the Metal Scorpions instead of having to refill torches, and you're actually probably feeling pretty good about this. But it is one of the situations Beta mentioning in chat where, you know, I've got a pretty good situation, but you have no way of knowing, like, sometimes your opponent just finds that bigger one. And this is, given it's not a Hurtmore seed, a pretty big experience gap, but this is, you know, we're 20 minutes in. There's a lot still that can happen here, and we'll just have to wait and see. I think this Wraith Knight will get Hoodie to the verge of level 10.
Yeah, you know, the thing that Adam Raptors is probably, if anything, worried about is what's to the east here, what's to the south here, right? What gold could be available, what key could be available to get you the broadsword quickly, right? That could have made things really different early on. Is probably unlikely to even kind of see the Hawksness zone until maybe even Repel hides it, right? So Adam Raptors may never even know how good this Hawksness zone was, because it might be like Repel and Hurtmore before it goes back into that zone.
Yeah, he's already breaking the Druid Lord and the Wolf for what it's worth, and would only need, you know, 8 more agility to, well, I guess maybe a little more, 10 more agility to break the 12. I'll keep going up. 12 more agility to break the Wraith Knight too, and you'd never see that in the seed if he's using Repel. So yeah, it's hard to say. But Atom Raptors is going to head east as Hoodie grabs level 10. 4117 Radiant, I think, was possibly, you know, you can hope for a sleep play here, but honestly, with 71 attack power with that broadsword now and heal more, he's a pretty strong favorite, assuming that the Stone Man doesn't have any abilities hidden away.
Yeah, if the sword is under here, it's enormous, right? I mean, just the odds are still low. There's a lot of items to find, but Hoodie upgrading to broadsword and straight to Erdrick's sword would be a massive advantage.
Yeah, so Erdrick's sword would be huge. Kind of the S tier outcome here. The A tier outcome is you find Harp, and that helps your routing perhaps later in the seed. Kind of below that, somewhere in the B or C tier, is you find Death Necklace, and maybe you can just grab it, the search spot, once or twice to get enough money for a large shield before you head out. And then somewhere in probably the D tier is what he actually picked up, which is the Fairy Flute.
I mean, can you not call it the F tier? It is the Fairy Flute, right?
It is the F tier, I think. Yes, officially. But honestly, with where the stats are right now, like if you get a little bit more strength, and you're in a situation where you run into a golem, that's actually not even a terrible situation to be in.
Yeah.
To have the Fairy Flute right now.
Yeah, it's the kind of seed where you have high HP, loot, and heal more. So
Hmm.
yeah, you already are thinking I would love a golem, like over a red dragon for sure. And before Hurtmore, it's going to be really efficient, even having to flute play a bunch.
Exactly. Yeah. Pre-Hurtmer especially. Like your available options are not, you'll have some mid-game stuff that's still good, but honestly, a golem that can be fought at this level, or even once you get a little bit more attack power, red dragon, those enemies are worth so much experience that in pre-Hurtmore they're just still going to outstrip what you're doing against basically anything else, even if you have to burn some heal mores to get it done.
Yeah. I mean, okay, 70 AP is a little early for the golem encounter, but once you get to 90,
Yes.
it starts to be tedious but still efficient.
Yeah. But who knows how long it'll take for that attack power to get there. Still 51 strength on level 10. But I will say Adam Raptor's been doing a good job here. He's cleared a bit, hasn't really seen much. Granted, we've seen 3 towns already, so there's fewer things to find for what it's worth, but has been picking up some experience as he's been traveling here, and has enough hit points, even without Healmore, to do things like race Weak Breath Magiwyverns, which is a really good find.
Yeah, I mean, Anoraptors, one thing I kind of look at when you're exploring is how much experience are you passing up, and hasn't had to pass up much. I mean, that heal is kind of annoying from the Magiwyvern, and hopefully it doesn't do it again, but yeah. This is a level.
It hasn't really had to pass on much. This would be the level if he can get it, but it is going to throw the heal again here. I think Hoodie's into Swamp South.
We do have a golem. So here we go. Maybe Hoodie starts grinding. I mean, you don't have the sword yet. It's a little dicey to do too much grinding without the sword, but certainly take the level.
Oh, was there a video jump there? I think Hoodie already had level 10. I don't think it was that long of a jump, but I think maybe I didn't see him enter Swamp Cave, so that maybe was.
I don't know if it was the stream or the video seemed fine. I get the luxury of it being local to me. So everything looked pretty smooth. There was no, I think he might have fought a golem.
Okay. Yes, sorry not to, discuss tech stuff on stream, but as someone who restreams while commentating frequently, I understand that sometimes things might seem wonkier to the viewers if something happened upstream somewhere. Adam Raptor's picking up level 8. So, starting to get some stats here. He casts Return after picking up that level. He had been sent back to start, I think, or else had just dead-ended the area he was exploring.
Yeah, Adam Raptor's now probably really thinking about a key, right? There's the treasury, potential for gold to get that broadsword, and that would be a really nice way to kind of be able to take some of these fights again. That, like the Magiwyvern, that gets a little tough when you have to use MP on every hurt. So, yeah, I think looking for the key makes a lot of sense right now. Looking for something for Adam Raptors and not settling in any grind yet.
Yeah, and has that large shield, so is breaking things like this Druid Lord. Hoodie, apparently this is, so what we're seeing on Adam Raptor's screen, we saw the southwest corner of Charlock, and just around the corner from that is where the entrance to Swamp Cave was that Hoodie found. And just to the east of that swamp entrance is Garenham, one of our couple of remaining towns that we have here. We're just missing Rim and Cantlin now, but he'll, without keys, just be able to top off his resources. He did pop through the other end of Swamp Cave after getting level 11 on that golem, but just found as Chad is mentioning, truth in advertising, a huge swath of swamp there. With that armor, not a big deal, but he probably saw the town on this side and just decided to go through. But I think actually going through Swamp Cave there makes a lot of sense, because if you backdoor into Tanagel or Garenham, that's a pretty big deal. So checking that first and just taking a peek is usually a good idea.
Okay, Adam Raptors is here, is fighting Wraith Knights, seeing the zone, starting to realize what could have been maybe a little bit, but hey, you take it now that you found it, and you just grind away.
Yeah, well situated here, has a large shield already, so is breaking everything except for the Wraith Knight, and of course the Stone Man. But anything you'd want to fight, he's breaking. Hoodie, to the northeast of Garenham, has found Tablet Cave, and that was, it looked like a cursed belt, I think.
Yep, which just tells us the item we found in Hawksness was planned all along with that cursed belt placement. Doesn't tell us anything about the other two search spots yet.
Well, armor was in coal, I think.
Oh yeah, two down.
Two search spots. So the only thing,
really nothing.
Yes. Hoodie is headed back to the spike. He only needs 2 golems to pick up level 12, and certainly has enough resources for that right now. So even though this is a slog, like I said, 2 fights, and as long as the golem just does not wake up every single turn, then you're very likely to get there on this cycle. I'm not worried about commentator cursing it because this has already happened, so I can say things like that with impunity.
Yes, and yeah, I think Hoodie's probably happy with 1. It's a bonus if you get both. Doing not very much damage here, needing to heal more fairly often, but I think that second continent just had Garenham and the entrance to Sharlock, is that right? So we had to come back through here anyways.
I think this this entrance to Swamp Cave, the Swamp South entrance, is actually outside of Charlock, and Garenham is there, and then Tablet was to the northeast of that. We actually haven't seen much of Second Conning yet.
Oh, okay. So
yeah, so heading through to the north side could be the way forward here. Haven't seen much else, but we did see Adam Raptors find kind of like a whole lot of nothing going east, further south of Charlock, so I'm not sure if maybe this is already kind of a fully Second Continent situation. Difficult to tell at the moment. I think it's probable.
Yeah, okay, so then Hoodie may be thinking, okay, we've seen both spike tiles. This is the better grind, rather than kind of march around at lower levels. Let's see what another level or 2 can give. If it gives you hurt more or repel, could really speed up the exploration a lot.
Yeah. It's something that's kind of funky, just as a side note about this golem right now, is that when you're in kind of the mid 70s to lower 80s, the golem actually ends up being slightly better fight than, say, a red dragon, in this sense that the golem's agility is so much worse that you're actually doing enough more damage that it's, on average, fewer swings to kill it, which is kind of odd. But that plus the fairy flute makes the golem pretty good right now, and as you see, Hoodie just spent a couple of heal mores to get to level 12, which will bring 12 power, 15 speed, 17 hit points, and 21 magic points. A crescendo in that level.
Wow, that's all double digits. That's very rare that you see all double digit stat gains, and it's perfect for this grind, right? It just makes you heal more or less, less swings. It's everything you want to see here.
Sometimes you grind and you get the big level and you say to yourself, okay, now I can go do some stuff. But sometimes the level just says, hey, you know what? That just made this grind that much better. It's a pretty big difference, 76 attack power to 88 attack power. In this situation, you're probably carving maybe like a swing and a half or even 2 swings off of this golem fight. And even though you have to flute it reasonably to still get the job done, it's, again, he's, gotten that golem, and he really only needs, 2 more? Yeah, he just needs 2 more to get the level, so there's not a compelling reason to leave this right now.
Yeah, and your heal more goes that much further with another 20 HP. You might get a whole nother swing before you have to use MP, and you get more out of each heal more with the 122 max. So yeah, I think it just turned this grind into an even more confident decision to sit here.
Adam Raptors did just get sent home. He does sitting on level 8 does not quite have Healmore yet, and so found an Armored Knight in the wild. Looked like a little bit of a choke point in the direction in which he was exploring. So hopefully that does not prove too cumbersome. But he does only have about 73 experience points to get to level 9, and then he'll have a little bit better expected value against at least trying to get away from some of those enemies, as long as he has the MP to force the 4th run attempt. So the Healmore will help him out right now if he's intent on exploring, but that experience gap just continues to grow. Hoodie's about 3,000 in the clear right now.
Yeah, I mean, all of this makes sense for Adam Raptors, right? You've never had anywhere approaching broadsword money. You still need to use hurt. It feels really inefficient. So continuing to just push for anything that can kind of unlock some offense is a must do right now. There's no sitting down and even slow chipping these Wraith Knights is not going to feel good in the search for level 9, level 10 from there on.
Yeah. Speaking of power, 24,572 for Hoodie on 13. He all of a sudden has 92 strength. Remember that we started the seed, we were on like level 7, we still were in the 20s, right? That was the big strength gain on level 8. And all of a sudden we have 92. So with Sword right now, Hoodie would have 132 attack power. He's actually kind of on the fringes of being Go. He's not Go yet, but he got there. It's pretty quickly on this golem grind.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to get much more strength than 92, even with more levels. You kind of know it's going to plateau on you, but you need not much more MP to make it work. So, yeah, we're going to take the death, and I think it's like probably a little bit of not quite panic yet because it's been so efficient, but you know the mission, and it's start finding the things.
Yeah, sitting there with your fairy flute and your Erdrick's armor. It's always good to have the armor out of the way, of course, but now you're thinking, okay, I don't have keys yet. I've seen 2 of the key lock locations. Well, of course, Tanagel being the starting one. Got the treasury there, plus the back door of Garenham and whatever's under that. And already having seen Tablet and Swamp Cave, you know your dungeons are, moderately likely, as well as your trade-ins, to be underneath those locked doors. So finding keys is a pretty big deal right now. And Adam Raptors, having hit level 9, is just continuing to push exploration because he's got heal more. And I think this cave is a new cave. I don't think we've seen this one before that he's got on his side.
Yeah, it's definitely a new cave. I'll be surprised, or not surprised. I think Hoodie looked for Repel. Didn't make the walk to Breckenary to buy fairy water, but I wouldn't be surprised if Cantlin becomes a filling point for Hoodie with the fairy water.
You being selective, in his shoes, no pun intended, in Hoodie's shoes, in Hoodie's 2 shoes, Repel is pretty compelling right now because you're, kind of on the verge of being Go here, and it, it's actually kind of technically possible if you catch some doubles and, this kind of thing, but certainly not, like a lock Go level, but you expect that 14 might be, because really just another heal more or something of that nature in your stats, and you're feeling pretty good about your level. But yeah, without Repel, it means you're just kind of saddled with a lot of these fights, and most of them are good, and some of them are slightly less good. But the level is only 5,600, so he's actually just about 800 experience points away from hitting 14.
Yeah, you have a really good grind with the golem, right? You could even kind of stop fluting at this point and really cruise through them. So this, where you have to put it to sleep and all the swings, for 1/4 of the experience, you could do better.
Yeah, and I think Hoodie's cognizant of that for sure. I mean, he made a very subtle pivot in his grind when he was picking up the previous level. where he stopped using the flute for that level because he knew he had enough heal mores in the tank to just swing through it to get the level. And when you can do that, that's usually a good idea. So it was very heads up play. But right now he's just he's hit the south border of the map and hasn't seen much anything this direction. And this, I think, is going to be a new town for Adam over here. So Adam Raptors has seen the Rainbow Drop Cave. So that again kind of eliminates one of the possibilities for what's behind a locked door. And we're kind of looking like we've got Staff, Stones, Mountain Cave, and Grave outstanding. And we've got, all of our key checks to make. So if this is Rim, it could be still a pretty big find. And I will say, we've been talking about this golem grind a lot. Even though this looks a little bit dire right now, with Flute and a weapon, if, say, Adam Raptors picks up Sword and can take a couple of phases of grind against those golems, then that can rack up experience really quickly. And we see that the go level is actually pretty close. So I would not write him off in this race just yet.
No, I mean, definitely no writing off. The golem can get you straight to go level in 5-10 minutes, right? Depending on exactly how much experience you get on the overworld. And so finding things could take quite a bit longer. The radishes have been found. They don't help very much in the short term, but they're cheap and fresh.
Do we actually have a little, is that like a little radish tracker on the tracker now?
Yeah.
Did you play, is this a Brian
No,
Williams
no,
from 2 innovation?
I didn't do it. This is
wow.
this is new to me. I'm highly entertained.
I'm extraordinarily entertained. It's the best thing that's happened today.
Yeah, Adam Raptor is grinding out this Mercy Rule run on the Armored Knight, but you can now.
Yeah, it's something that does. I think we think about the Mercy Rule run in Charlock a lot because that tends to be the place where it's most obvious that something, a runner can get jammed up there. But honestly, for pushing exploration, if you have a ton of hit points and heal more, it can just help you get around too. The things that are big run blockers that you're not in a position to fight, you just, force your 4th run attempt and get away. We do see there is actually a new cave. We have not seen this cave yet on Adam Raptor's side. So again, we only have a handful of caves outstanding. And then this will kind of be our elimination. It will tell us what's behind our locked doors just yet.
Yeah, chat pointing out, Adam Raptors grabbed the radishes, but did not check the bottom shop and did not take the copper sword in the top shop, which you could have still bought the copper sword, even afforded the inn, and still been able to buy a hand axe if it was in the bottom shop. So we don't know what was in the bottom shop, but at least passed up on 6 attack power with the copper sword.
That's something you're not typically thinking about 42 minutes into a seed is I should buy a copper sword to improve my situation. But probably understandable. 33115 for Hoodie on 14. So he's at a full 130 hit points now. With sword would have 135 attack power and just shy of 12 heal mores, but that looks pretty good. I mean, 135 attack power with room for doubles, even without the death necklace on 11 heal mores with some spare healing feels pretty good. 72 agility is fine. As Hoodie strolls into Cantlin, Adam Raptors will hit Stone's Cave and get an herb. So if
I'm going to put my what is Adam Raptor's thinking hat on, and passing on the copper sword. I think you're thinking bigger. You're thinking broadsword. You're thinking finding Erdrick's sword. You're thinking gold grind. So maybe all of that time is just distraction from the bigger picture.
Entirely possible. Adam Raptors has used up his entire MP pool just getting out of Cantlin. He's a little bit further ahead on this explore route than Hoodie is right now, although I think it looks like Hoodie's headed to the northwest first. So he might miss the Stone's Cave and its herb, which ultimately would probably be a benefit. But we are down now to only 3 possible caves left behind the 2 locked doors, both dungeons, grave and mountain, as well as the Staff of Rain cave, which I don't believe we've seen to this point.
No, we haven't. Hoodie just sees this extremely long peninsula that keeps looking like it might open up into more and results in just a dead end. But again, with the fairy water now from Cantlin is really repelling very effectively and making really good time over this overworld.
Yeah, the fairy water fill up in Cantlin was a great decision. He's really only seeing a handful of things now, and he knows he's basically go if he can find his things, but still missing all of our quest items for both racers. 45 minutes into this seed. Adam Raptors is going to be able to top off here in Cantlin. Got back with level 10 as well, so has some more strength to his name. Hoodie's just going to, looks like, continue taking at least a couple of fights. Taking out that Axe Knight right there. But there was a bridge that kind of led further to the northwest. This was, I think that peninsula was more or less dead-ended. There were probably a couple tiles he couldn't quite see from the south side. So I had to head that way, but there is some room to the north for exploration still. I wonder if we're going to run into the other end of Swamp Cave at some point, or if we'll see something else. But I think the last remaining cave we just saw on Hoodie's screen is just across this river.
Yeah, we just have to figure out how to get there. If it was the bridge to the right, or this kind of path that might wind around from the left. But we also need a town, right? We still need Rim. It's got to be somewhere.
Presumably.
Yeah, but so I think Hoodie's thinking, okay, Rim is the last town. Let's try to find that, because caves do not guarantee keys. Let's look for town first. But yeah, okay, now we'll find our way to that cave, see what's there. Or
the cave will still be there later. It's fine.
I mean, it's true. I think you want to see that town because you know exactly what it is at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially because you could set up a gold grind. You know, if you have the keys first for a better shield. Maybe a silver. Have we seen a silver anywhere?
I think Breckenary had a silver, if I'm not mistaken, because I think Cole had the large.
Yeah. Might be hard to commit the time when you already go, but it's right there. It's not far away.
I think it kind of depends, right? Hoodie has found this is Mountain Cave, so we know that, as a side note, Grave and Staff have to be under Tanagel and Garanham in some order. But if Hoodie finds a key here in Mountain, then I think it'd probably be pretty tempting to just go ahead and try to take a death out of here. It's a little bit more challenging with where his hit points are and having armor. But he did find stones in the top chest, and he did find a red dragon on the second floor.
There's your ticket out of here.
Yeah, that's your ticket home. But in the meantime, he's continued to gain some experience, so he has not let up with his experience gathering. He's going to just fight his way through this red rather than force a run on it. And this would again put him, about 1,000 experience shy of 15.
Yeah.
But reds are pretty good. It is difficult to pass on this. And if you haven't seen some Charlock enemies yet, I think maybe Hoodie hasn't seen an Armored Knight, for instance. If you're kind of fringy go and think you might end up losing some resources on your dive, then if you're presented with 350 easy experience, it is really hard to turn that down.
Yeah. If you're committed to the level, that's a great way to get there, for sure. Yeah, chat kind of contemplating, do you death warp, do you gold grind? I mean, it's tough. You have a lot of key checks. If you can find a key here, do you keep looking for Rim, or do you just start working your way through? But I guess we have to see if there's a key before we make that decision.
Yeah, I think key, then you don't care about Rim so much. And now, especially that he's found 2 quest items in here, as well as the Death Necklace, been a cave of riches Mountain Cave has in this one. Then I think then you have 7 chest checks back home versus the 1 chest in Rim if it's there. I guess you could go check it just in case, because this is pretty far out of the way, but I also wouldn't dislike just saying, you know what, I've got minimum 13 chests. I guess that's the exact number. 4 in Tanagel Treasury, 3 in Garanham, 5 in Grave, where the rest of the stuff might be. But I guess a lot depends on whether or not Hoodie saw the town across the river there. So
Oh, was there a town? I didn't see it. So was it
yeah,
one
I
tile
think
off the edge?
Chad
Yeah.
is. I think I have a vague recollection of it, and Chad is saying that there is a town across. So I think if you know the location of the town, you probably just hit it and fade your silver shield.
Yeah. Yeah. And if it's in the bottom of Tanagil, you could kind of stumble into it in grave, even if it's there, right? So
Right.
another gold grind. Yeah, there it is.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, there it is.
Fine.
Yeah, I actually didn't see it, but chat was certain. So this has to be Rim. And that means second continent is empty, so Hoodie in hindsight made an excellent choice not to pursue that any further. Because all of the stuff was up all of these winding peninsulas in the north.
I mean, Adamraptors is not far behind in seeing these places, just has to clear a mountain, but chooses to go in. No, chooses to leave without a lot of MP. That's not a great choice. It's knows
Yeah.
this is a refill, so I think it's a smart play to refill first. And actually knows it's even Rim too. Yeah, probably knows it's Rim as well.
I think he does. I'm pretty sure he saw Garanham. Oh, and there's wow. Okay, Rim turned out to be huge because that's sword and the double locked in chest. So we're just looking for Harp now.
12 chests and 1 search spot potentially behind key doors.
So I guess this is the question, right? We've only seen that one cursed belt and we've seen 2 occupied search spots. So if Harp is in the overworld, do you just walk back to Cantlin from here? The other thing that Beta notes noted in chat was that Hoodie hasn't seen Stones of Sunlight Cave yet as well. I don't think I would spend time looking for that, but I think there is a serious consideration here of whether or not you go get the coordinates before you just return and check all those chests. Particularly because you won't know if you need to dive grave. And on top of that, I think Hoodie, having cleared mountain, knows that if there are coordinates, it has to be Harp, and he can essentially skip literally every other check.
Yeah, I think maybe Hoodie's betting there's not much left up here to see, and it's just going to finish. A quick walk.
I think level 15 was worth 2 more heal-mores, so that's 101 strength for 141 attack power and 13 heal-mores.
Maybe go level. Maybe go level now.
It if you're being aggressive, I guess it could be go level. In case anyone can't pick up the sarcasm in my voice, this is an ironclad lock go level on 15.
Yeah. Even I mean, triple digit strength is as rare as it is, and have all the other stats be this good. The tracker is not lying. It's very green right now.
Yes, that is incredibly green level. Green, flashing green. Get to Charlock. See what's going on. There was no harp and no fighter's ring, which would be the only other thing we'd be looking for in the Tangential Treasury. But we'll see what's underneath. If this is staff, it's kind of annoying. And it is.
The only thing about level 15 is it just didn't come with repel. So you still have to walk around and get encounters.
That's right. Yeah, you're still fighting, you're getting Drakemas and Magidrakes on your way to your next destination.
I'm assuming Hoodie wants to get the large shield at some point, and then maybe also fairy water, but I guess maybe do that in Cantlin rather than in Brecconary.
Let's see. I don't know. Cantlin's, if you're going to go check the coordinates, which it looks like that's what he's doing right now, then yeah, you can probably just wait on that. Or maybe I guess this might have been a shorter route to Garanham this direction, because I think that's what town that is right now. So this is here. We know Grave is also here. So if you're in, again, now I'm going to do the pun on purpose. If you're in Hoodie's 2 shoes, do you full dive Grave here, or do you just bail after top 3 and see the coordinates? I don't know how far Cantlin is away. It's kind of a difficult calculus because of that. but Hoodie, I imagine, has a better sense of it than I do.
I mean, it looks like, he knows what it is, so he's going for it. Haven't seen enough cursed belts, and this is right here. Maybe just check the top, but you have outside, you have return, or you don't need return yet, but you need
Yeah.
outside, so it's not too far to go to the bottom, check everything.
Yeah. We knew to expect red dragons here on the top floor. He is just fully fading them now, which makes total sense. There is zero reason to continue accumulating experience on level 15 with where the stats are.
It has to heal here on 42. Could get hit for 42, but just run until you run.
Got a key here, gold, and a pair of wings.
And Adam Raptor is doing the mountain clear out, getting a lot of items. Kind of, having the sword already from him clears all of this out. Maybe takes the death warp out of here, unlike Hoodie, who had to go to that town. Adam Raptors might think, okay, let's just start checking things with keys back at the start. Don't look for a tablet anywhere.
Yeah, and I think it makes sense here. The preponderance of your checks, he already knows where those are and how to get to them. Hoodie's just being harassed by these reds. They're not a threat to him. He has way too much in the way of resources right now to be concerned about them, but they are proving themselves to be a nuisance as he dives grave, which I think makes sense here. If he clears this and doesn't find Harp, that he knows that he can check Cantlin next and still fade the outstanding single checks that he has. I think Stone's Cave, at least. I think maybe he found Tablet earlier, so that might be the only one that would be weighing on him. So if he finds coordinates, then he knows that's where the Harp has to be. But we'll see. This is another key at chest 4, so just one more check here in grave.
Yeah, it's quick to get the coordinates. It's not necessarily quick to get the item. So I think I get the point of just getting these checks out of the way, because you do save a lot of time. Well, I guess if it are coordinates, then it's the Harp. So, yeah. No, it's still quick. I mean, look, you're going fast enough through here, even without Repel. So, it's not bad.
Yeah, it's been pretty quick. It's a quick dive. And as you said, with outside, it's less of a big deal. Chest 5 is a fairy water. So, at least from bird's eye view, we now know that there have to be coordinates, and those coordinates must be Harp.
Looks like Adam Raptors is backtracking, maybe back towards Cantlin. So maybe we'll get this Harp info quite quickly.
Yeah, I will say, nice to find the fairy water in that chest. That's going to spare Hoodie some encounters on his explorer here. But I think this is the same zone where we saw the Armored Knight on Adam Raptor's side earlier, that same choke point location south of Garanham. But he's going to take a look around, probably maybe poking into some areas that he hadn't earlier, just in case that single check is important. But he does have Cantlin on his screen right now, so we'll be getting the coordinates soon. And I think Adam Raptor's also approaching Cantlin just from the opposite direction.
Yeah, I would say I'm a little lost as to exactly the path to Cantlin from where Adam Raptors is, the reverse walk, but yeah, still not returning, still like walking over seen tiles, so clearly has some sort of checks left out in this corner and is not headed home yet.
Yeah, I think maybe hasn't seen. We know this extends for a bit, but these bridges, there's so many bridges and so many kind of places where you have to double back after a long walk that it really does take quite a long time to get into and out of the north of this map.
Again, Adam Raptors, I think, is only looking for Tablet Cave, right? Because that's the only... Well, we don't... By process of elimination, we don't know what's behind the other doors, right? So...
Right, he hasn't seen the door checks yet, so he's probably not quite sure. So yeah, in his mind, one of, Grave could still be out here, and that could be really important. So from his perspective, making sure he clears all of this is ideal. But Hoodie has uh, sold off everything that wasn't nailed down and bought fairy water for repel. Also picked up a large shield for what it's worth, and finds the coordinates are 79 north, 9 east. I
Yeah,
dare say that is an unfavorable location on this map.
yeah, yeah. I haven't really seen clear edges that would help you do anything other than just have to go kill a golem and rescue the princess.
Yeah.
So Adam Raptor's up to level 12. I mean, this is this is the stat level, right? This is the one that starts to
Right.
scare you. You're almost
Yeah.
go now.
Yeah. And so the interesting thing is, even though Hoodie has had this big experience point lead the whole seed, like Adam Raptors could hit 13 and decide to go. I mean, he could go on. If you were really pushing it, he could try to push it on 12. But as I recall, I haven't seen the stats pop up yet, but yeah, I mean 13 for sure is a level where you could say, I'm thinking about this. Yeah, the strength isn't there yet on 12. I think 13 is the first real shot where you're looking at it and say, I can kind of see a window here.
Yeah, now of course Adam Raptors has no reason to think that the experience gap is so big, right? So I don't think I would see
Right.
a low odds dive, on level 13. But again, the golem is quick to get to 14.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, even if he decides to go to 14, he's still got to figure out these coordinates. He still has to dive grave, potentially. So he has a lot of stuff to do still, and could just get to 14 incidentally, as he explores much the same way Hoodie did. And that provides him some opportunity. Now, interestingly enough, I think I think Adam just returned, and you know what? He hasn't cleared Hawksness yet, has he?
No.
Because he didn't have Healmore yet when he was back here, so he's going to do this first. And I think this is actually really good routing, because what can happen is he'll check the spike, he'll get the item, he can die off of this, and then it's going to be faster to get into Tanager to check those checks because he'll be coming out of the throne room instead. So I think this is a little bit more elegant in terms of the routing. Especially like from his perspective, Harp Cave could be under Tanager, and if this is Silver Harp, then he just gets to trade it right away. So I like this play a lot.
The low odds play is to go straight to Cantland from here. Forget all the chests that could be around, but you're right. I mean, the smart thing to do is check the chests right here. Yeah.
Yes. Well, he did eventually double back to Cantland, so he has the coordinates now too. That was where he came back from. So
yeah,
he'll have full knowledge as soon as he gets to Garanham, I think, except for perhaps Tablet. I don't immediately recall him entering Tablet, but I could be mistaken on that score.
Hoodie has a GPS and is headed 79 north. It's going to be a windy path to get there. It's going to be up in those like ridge island areas somewhere, and it's not a straight walk in any way.
No. So picking up Hoodie with the GPS has a leg up on this count. There is, I think, it's a little bit strange, but there's still so much walking to do in this seed, because once you get the harp, you have to double back to Tanager to trade it, and then you have to go all the way over to Rainbow Drop Cave, which I think was kind of the only cave that we saw in the southeast, if I'm not mistaken. And then you've got to double back to Charlock. So there's still a lot of walking to happen here. Hoodie's making good use of his fairy water, hasn't caught very many encounters. We'll get our first ping here.
It's still so far away. You still have to go
It's
50 more west after you go north.
Yeah. So this is another, 3 screens west of here. Never mind, you're going to have to ping at some point to kind of decide which peninsula you have to walk down, and even then, you've got to get your 79 ascertained first, and then figure out which way to go. So yeah, it's going to be down this peninsula here, but it looks like Adam Walker's, conflated a couple things there. Adam Raptors is going to try to walk this one out.
You're very, very far away still there, and I don't think you've seen how you might pick up that count from any other kind of part of the map you've seen so far. Maybe the second continent would pick up that part of the map, and it might even be a second continent path.
You know what? I think it is, because the interesting thing is we saw like basically a full explorer first, and I feel like, you know, the area into which Hoodie exited, the only time we've seen second continent was when Hoodie went through that one time, and it was just covered in swamp, and we did see kind of like the very southeast corner of a potential island over there. So it's possible that he does have to go through Swamp Cave to get to those coordinates.
And Atom Raptors might try to pick up the count from the other side of Swamp Cave rather than do the princess rescue. I mean, it's a very sketchy choice because you have not seen how you might get to those coordinates from there. But it's a possibility.
It is a possibility. I don't know if he'll have a landmark that's close enough, but Hoodie is straight through Swamp and is going to ping. So we'll get a sense in just a second. 30 south, 12 to the east. So he's got the he still has to go further west, but he's got to go. It's still another couple screens north of here. So yeah, this has been. Yikes.
Okay, you could see Hawksness from the other side. So if Atom Raptors had seen that, he could have picked up Hawksness as the kind of anchor point to continue counting from, instead of kind of going towards Charlock. But, you know, this was not an easy walk 10 levels ago, right? So
no, for sure. For sure not. Yeah, Hoodie's north. I think he headed east. So 60 south, 8 to the west. So now east-west, he's basically got it. And it's got to be north of here, I assume. This is a lot of contiguous swamp.
It's directly north of where he is right now, but there's just water there. So it's not, he's going to have to hope it actually connects and isn't back on the first continent.
79. So he's just got to go, what, 8 north?
Okay, there it is.
I think it's over here, yeah.
Yeah, it's that grassy area with the lost item.
Very, very nook of that peninsula. So we have our first silver harp get. Hoodie has all of the rainbow drop ingredients and will head into Tangential to trade his harp.
Yeah, Hoodie on a very clear mission now. There's no question the remaining steps in this seed from here.
I think Atom Raptors was attempting to pick up his landmark from this spot north of Charlock, which is where he'd taken his first landmark.
Yeah, this is all still first continent, right? So this is kind of destined to lead to kind of paths that don't connect in the way Atom Raptors needs.
Yeah, it's destined for disappointment if he continues along this route, but I don't know. Maybe being on that little peninsula there and being swarmed by armor knights will make him think that it's time for a rescue, which I think can only be a good thing in this seed. That was an absolute menace of a count.
Yeah, I'm very obviously pro count, but that one, I think, especially given you know that the spike fight is pretty easy and you want the experience anyways, like maybe Hoodie didn't need it there, but not bad.
So interesting here. Hoodie went through Swamp Cave. I think something just dawned on me that hadn't occurred to me, and I think Atom Raptors is maybe the only one of our two racers who has seen Rainbow Drop Cave.
Oh. Yeah, I think you're right.
And here again, like if you're in Hoodie's... Now see, that one was not on purpose again. If you're in Hoodie's shoes, I actually feel really terrible about this right now because you've had this level 15 that is as go gets for some time now, and you've been doing a lot of walking, and I would be very, very unnerved in his situation right now.
So where is the path to the Rainbow Drop trade? Is it first continent near Garenham?
I think it's first continent to the southeast of Garanham. I could be mistaken, but that feels like the only chunk of the map that I don't have great knowledge of. And it was really early in the seed when Adam Raptor saw that, so I think that was that direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that would be why we don't have a recall of that area, because Hoodie hasn't been there to refresh our memory.
Exactly, yeah. So we saw that. That was Adam Raptor's first exploration trip. Rainbow Drop Cave, I think, was one of the first caves we saw. And Adam Raptors will clear the golem to rescue Goylin and get that level 13, which is, very fringe go. And, he only needs, 1,200 experience to get to the next level, which 14 is a pretty solid level. So, yeah, with Hoodie still looking for Rainbow Drop Cave, I think this is still well within reach, but Adam Raptors has to beat feet to get to this harp as well. Is he going to take the next level on this golem while he's here? Yeah, it looks like the answer is yes.
Yeah, at least give me 1 or 2 golems. Get closer, because you don't have a lot of walking left on the overworld. And it's very close to go right now.
Yeah. And really, 3 golems... I believe 3 golems would... not quite. I guess...
I would take 3 golems and then head... I would probably take 2 golems.
I think I would take 2 and then get out of here, because you know how much walking you have left, and it's a lot of walking, and you don't have repel. So, you're going to pick up the rest whether you want it or not. I mean, there's just going to be encounters in the overworld that you're going to want to take. So, yeah, I think you maybe get yourself close and get gone. But honestly, even if he took 14 here, I'd feel fine about that too.
Yeah.
With sword, that's the one big difference here, right? Adam Raptors is doing this golem grind with sword. Hasn't had to flute at all, because he's got heal more and he's got a ton of hit points and he's got sword. So 132 attack power makes this fight almost trivial. There are probably some fights even on 74 defense that you wouldn't necessarily have to heal more in that fight if you just get a bunch of chunky swings. So yeah, he's just going to push all the way to 14 here, it looks like.
Yeah, you get the info.
And honestly, yeah, he might get repel here. Might be his thought process too, and just say if it's repel, then that saves me time.
Yeah, it's a good point about having the sword for these fights, right? Hoodie did them, but did them at a lower level with the flute, with a broadsword, and so this experience is coming at a very rapid clip relative to how Hoodie did it. It's all time save.
Yeah, so plus 15 magic points, the big ticket item on 14, makes you feel a lot better about this level. 135 attack power, so you're not worrying yourself about fairy water or anything. You're not going to repel anything in Charlock, and you don't need it to do damage against the Dragon Lord. So singular focus here, just get your remaining trades done and get into Charlock. And this Rainbow Drop Cave now weighing pretty heavily on Hoodie. I think he's on the right track, though.
Yeah, and Adam Raptors, doesn't have repel, so and I don't think has any fairy water left. So this is going to be a painful walk of routine encounters, still taking time from you.
Hoodie did track down the Rainbow Drop Cave, so he's got a leg up now for sure. Adam Raptor still has all that walking to do that we just saw Hoodie go through. He'll be able to skip some of that as long as he knows and has remembered where Rainbow Drop Cave is. But Hoodie's got his drop and is now pressing back toward Garanham, which is that really close refill point to Charlock.
It's a very close refill point. So that is always a comfortable. And when you see that early in a seed, I think at least my stress level goes down, right? I don't have to worry about some end game routing, where I figure out how to have MP and walk to the Charlock entrance. You just know, top off and go.
It's so nice. And you don't have to, there are some seeds where you think, okay, Charlock's closer to me than any town, so I have to return to start and go see the magic guy and walk out. And that's really one of the worst feelings.
Yeah. Okay, Adam Raptor's making the right call, going to second continent to get the last item here, the harp, but is still a long walk through all this swamp.
Still a long walk, and it's something really just kind of unfathomably dramatic would have to happen to Hoodie at this point, where he is in the seed. He exercised the better part of valor there and ran from that metal slime. I think on principle I would have swung at it because you can one-shot it.
Yeah, it wasn't going to cost you a
It's-
level up time loss, right? So it would have been an okay
Yes.
kill.
It's a total time waste, but I think I feel like I would have swung at that because I can't help myself.
Well, you're focused. You're focused on run, and so you're
Yes.
yeah.
He's booking as fast as those little Goomba feet can take him.
It's true. All right, I did not switch to Hoodie's audio because it's extremely low, and so it would be unaudible for the audience. So I'm sorry about that. You'll have to remember the Dragon Lord song in your own head when we get to that point, which looks very likely here in a minute.
I think you can post the emotes, the little dancey boy, and then we can just hear it in our head, I think.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Adam Raptors does pick up the harp, is going to head back and trade this. So Hoodie's already at the end of Zone 1.
We haven't seen sleep on anything, right? I mean, sleep feels like the only thing that could do any sort of even slowdown. It probably wouldn't even do more than that, but I don't recall any sleep to worry about.
No, haven't seen much of it. Granted, a lot of the Charlock enemies have been elusive, but the ones that you're most worried about are those reds, the red dragons and the armored knights, and neither of them had anything threatening. So Hoodie's making pretty quick work of this, even though he's not repelling anything in here. And I guess we didn't run it down officially, but 141 attack power, just for sake of reference, 10 to 20. So you're doing 15 on average, and this is one of those deals where it's not a question of is Hoodie going to get the job done here. It's a question of how many Healmores will Hoodie have left when he does.
Yeah.
Barring something catastrophic happening.
Yeah, I think I have 11 swings here gets you most of the time through the fight. 12 almost always, and 13 is cosmic rays need to do something to the bits in your computer to make that go wrong. And
right.
Yeah, so with 13 Healmores and 137 HP, it's no question you'll get 13 swings off.
Yes, when you're talking, the only thing that can derail you are stray neutrinos. Then you've got to lock up a fight.
How did I roll 2? It's the cosmic rays that happens every once in a while.
You get these coronal mass ejections. You never know if the solar flare is gonna just. If you're on one side of it, one place, and your opponent's way far away, and maybe you get a solar storm and they don't, that could be the difference.
Mm-hmm. Hasn't happened yet. Usually it's just the usual third zone enemies that cause trouble, but today also no problem. This might be the first blue dragon we've fought down. Is that right?
I'm pretty sure. We can confirm that in the stats afterward, but it might even be the first one we've seen. I don't recall seeing one prior to this.
Yep, and it had nothing. It just kind of...
Nothing.
Had nothing.
Really had nothing. Cruised right through it. Okay, so here we go. I don't even expect we'll see... I mean, Dragon Lord 1... will be very trivial, although he just hit him for 28 with 141 attack power, so that's, I think, typical. There's a 50, so of course that doesn't get the job done either, but catches a stop spell and will go in here with high likelihood of an opening double, and even if he doesn't, it probably doesn't matter.
Get your Dino Dance emotes out here, and sing along in your head the Dragon Lord's theme.
Hoodie at 46 through 3 swings.
Adam Raptors, it's it's all gone smooth from Adam Raptor's perspective, right? Like this
Yeah.
done is going to be very surprising because 5 deaths, generally kind of going in the right direction, didn't matter because Rimmler was so far away. So there was no shortcut that you missed. I mean, you just kind of feel all right at this point. And I think it was a really well-run seed overall, right? There's no quibble with like pretty much anything Adam Raptors has done here so far.
Yeah, I mean, from his perspective, if you come out on the losing end of, like, you still know you played really well. There were no loose keys anywhere. Like, from his perspective right now, you still feel really good about this. You've actually even timed up your go level to when you're getting ready to dive Charlock, a seed where you really didn't have to grind much of anything except for a handful of golems, and you probably feel pretty good about it.
Yep.
But I think probably just one more swing here from Hoodie. Yeah, 17. I think cleared the range.
6 heal mores left. Get your GGs out for Hoodie. Winning the race, winning the series 2-1, moving on to the round of 16, which, as this is a vodcast, is already in flight. So, yeah, congrats.
Yeah, very well done from Hoodie. I have no doubt that he was just probably like how long I was gonna actually take a timestamp of when Hoodie hit level 15 till the end of the seed and see how long he was just on this immense go level. And I think that has to be the worst feeling as a runner, just thinking, oh no, I'm ready to go, but I still have so much stuff to do. And then all of the walking around at the end just had to be terrifying.
Yeah, especially with the coordinates and just how far away they were and all of that walking at when you don't want to be walking. Yeah, so people sort of pointing out yeah, there was some strangeness in the VOD maybe here. Hoodie's final time was 1:23:04. So actually, this was a lot closer than it looked because of the you can see on the stream now we're at like 1:22. So actually, from admin perspective, Hoodie has not even finished yet. Yeah, so I don't know if something went wrong with my VOD or if Hoodie's stream had any hiccups as well, but apologies for the kind of jumping around. Chat kind of noticed it at times, and I guess it was some real jumps.
Oh, well, I mean, ultimately, that's okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it can sometimes happen too. I will say, if you download the VOD, sometimes there's just a small chunk that's missing because I've had that happen before. So, in any event, apologies for that. But I think, yeah. So actually, Adam Raptor is probably going to be about at the Charlock spike by the time Hoodie is sending a .done here.
Yeah, the Cosmic Rays, they're everywhere.
They actually are everywhere, basically all the time.
In the UK,
Don't think about
not
it
so much. It's quite dark here all the time, but yes, in general, they're everywhere. All right, so I officially marked on the tracker because that time has now passed of Hoodie's race time, GG time, 1:23. So Adam Raptors here is very close to being done. It's going to be a little tight of a fight, but still has all heal mores and doubles ahead probably, and 135 attack. So I think I feel good if I'm Adam Raptors on this fight too. The odds are in your favor still.
Yeah, 135, you like this. I guess technically he has the Death Necklace, but I don't like using that here, I don't think. Just because 135 on this many heal more should be fine anyway. So I think when you have that, and you're going from 135 to 145, and you're only picking up... you're maybe picking up 3 swings. I guess I could see an argument for it either way, but I think with 76 defense, you don't like as much going down to 98 hit points or whatever it would be.
Yep, I agree with that. I think um, it adds a lot of risk with that 76 defense to have to double heal more. So
Yeah, I think the risk of those fights is always the not really the Dragon Lord's gonna smack me for 50 so much, but the risk is, oh no, I heal moored for 85 when I was on 2. That's the big problem with the kind of low HP fights like that. Oh, and he did swing on let's see, a 51 there, which is that safe on 76?
no, it's not, but it's very low odds
It's
because
probably
it's
very
only
low
like a
odds.
half of a number that could hit, right? It's like
Right.
50.5, right? So
Yeah. Yeah, those the decimals are actually important. They kind of skew the distribution of those swings, so they're a little bit less likely on 76, even though it's not like one of those perfect numbers that actually shaves off the possibility entirely.
there's a real double.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
oh no.
Oh no. Got perfectoed for 50. My goodness.
Yep,
That feels awful. But I guess at that point he probably already knows that he has lost the race, right? If he's looking at the race room.
yep,
But
yep.
that still stings not to be able to finish it out.
Yeah, so we're not going to see the stats on Adam Raptor's stream, so I paused it here. That's how it kind of ends. Adam Raptor's forfeits at this point, um, rather than doing that dive again. Um, yeah, the 50, like very low odds, probably 2 or 3%. But I think
Yeah.
you maybe already know it's finished. You want to see if you can just win quickly. So, but get your GGs out for Adam Raptors. A very good tournament, taking this to a third game, and as always, like congratulations on a good run.
Yeah, I mean this is Adam Raptors has been very successful in the summer tournament. Hoodie's just really been fantastic for the last year and a half, honestly. And for this to be a first round matchup kind of tells you uh, the depth of what we saw here in the first round, which was pretty remarkable. There were a lot of matchups where you just kind of go, really, these two are facing off in the first round, and this was one of those that I looked at immediately and just went, whoa. I mean, this is Adam Raptors and Hoodie. Either of these guys, could potentially win the tournament, and one of them is going to be out before even the round of 16. So we were treated to a pretty good matchup here in the first round between these two.
Yep, and as much as Hoodie had that start, I mean, this could have been a 3 or 4 minute difference at the end. It was very close. So yeah, great run by Adam Raptors even in this race to kind of close that gap with kind of again like you said lining up that grind to time just for having all the items. So it was really calculated from that perspective.
It certainly didn't feel like it would be that kind of seed early, did it? We were still sitting on, in the 20s attack power and level 8, and then all of a sudden everything just like the double digit gains just kept hitting after level 10.
Yep, yep. It was a turned a corner, but that's I think why this is such an interesting game. You can never tell what the next level brings. So it didn't bring repel ever, but it brought everything else.
It did not.
Well, since this is a vodcast, we don't have the runners for interviews. So, maybe any final thoughts on the seed, and we'll find somewhere to send people.
No, I just thanks for putting these vodcasts on today, Brian. Really appreciate it. I think people in chat have mentioned it as well, but just getting to see all of the races in the bracket stage has been very cool. I think literally all of them have been broadcasted or else in the queue awaiting a vodcast. So we sincerely appreciate it. If any of you out there have been involved in any of the vodcasts or just any of the live race broadcasts, we really appreciate the push that everybody kind of made in the first 2 weeks of the bracket round to get these on the air and make sure that we can watch some cool races again, some just phenomenal matchups in the first round and a lot of close finishes. So it's been great so far. I'm sure it will continue to be going forward. In round 2, we've seen a couple of a couple of round 2 races already because we're already halfway through the week. So
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So plenty more of racing to go. We get the whole round of 16 and beyond ahead. So yeah, look forward to some more streams and some more good close races like this one. So with that, EMP is running some Dragon Warriors, so we'll send people there. Um, and yeah, we'll see everyone back. Stay tuned on Discord for the next restreams and vodcasts for the rest of the tournament. Thought I had it. There it is. Okay. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you later.
quick shout out to RG for tracking for us.
Oh
Thank
yeah,
you, RG.
thanks. Thank you for both races tonight.